Hello there and welcome to another episode of side hustles that I've tried that have failed dismally. Bit of a clue there as to how this video is going to pan out. I'm going to show you how much my brand new app in the App Store, how many times it's been downloaded, and crucially, how much money it has earned. And wow, what a roller coaster. The Lamborghini's outside waiting. So I first made some iPhone apps probably about 12 years ago. And had kind of varying degrees of success there, but they still make about 60 quid a month in advertising revenue and sales of in-app purchases. And because YouTube wasn't doing so great for me, I thought I would go back and revisit that avenue a little bit and see what I could do. Inspired by the Wordl app and its success, I thought I will try and make a simple word game, letter game that I can put in the App Store and refine and just have as a little bit of a hobby to keep me interested. So I went through the whole development process. Took me about a month, I think, to make the app from start to finish. Got it working and I released the app, and the app is called Bigram, and I will leave a link to it down below. And the idea is you get 5 random words on the screen. You then have to pick a pair of letters from each of those 5 words to make a 10-letter word. Even my friends who've seen it have said, oh, it'll be too easy, and they're not really kind of that enthused by it. It's an interesting one. It isn't as good as Wordle. It's not as easy as you think it would be. It's a little tiny bit addictive. The main thing it's missing is a sense of, I suppose, not urgency, but a kind of limit. When you play Wordle, you've got your 6-word limit, after which you lose your go. And I did make some alterations to the game, tried to add like a move limit or a time limit. Yeah, it's to be honest, I purposefully made the app really simple to imitate Wordle. Adding these sort of complications, I think what I'm doing is, the technical term is polishing a turd. It was a good thing for me to work on, but it isn't as good as Wordle, and it's never going to be as good as Wordle. Anyway, the app was free in the App Store, so I won't have made that much from sales, you can probably infer from that. And why did I make it free? You put a paid app in the App Store, literally nobody would buy it, because the only reason somebody would buy an app is if it performed an essential function that you had to have that app for. And in those days, I would put apps in the App Store at, say, 99 cents. And then the day I made those apps free, they would get like 300 or 400 downloads. So I realized, actually, paid for apps isn't the way to go. The best thing to do is to make the apps free and then supplement income with things like in-app ads, which I know not everyone is keen on. But then you can put in-app purchases to remove the ads or to add extra features. And that's where the income is then made from those apps. So that's exactly what I did here. So I think the app was released on the 22nd of July after it had gone through the app review process. This is the App Store page on the British version of the Apple website. You can see Bigram, guess the 10-letter word, and screenshots of the app. Interestingly, the app has a rating of 3.2 out of 5. So let's have a look at some of the reviews. A lovely person called MFLuda08. I'm enjoying the app. Downloaded it after watching Dr. Jake's YouTube video. It would be good if there was a score tracker. That is very true. And that's one of the features I've added but haven't, again, submitted to the App Store yet. But then I've got 2 1-star reviews. Boring game, don't bother, no thought went into it. That's just objectively a lie. Quite a bit of thought and effort went into it. So I did reply to this review. Thanks for taking the time to belittle and sabotage the effort it took to make this game. Nothing like a sort of British passive aggressive response. Thought, well, I've got really nothing to lose, have I? Also, Jason L 952, dull. Why waste people's time by making this rubbish? And I responded, why waste my time by writing this review, which I think is a valid response. I also reviewed the app myself. I gave it 5 stars because I think it's fantastic and the best app ever made, and that averages out at 3.2 out of 5. Now, interestingly, I think those two people, I could be wrong, but I think those two people are subscribers to this channel, or at least people who do follow my channel in some way. And the reason I say that is we're going to look at the download statistics for the app now. Now, I'm used to apps getting hundreds of downloads. Admittedly, it would vary by the topic of the app, and I made a few games in the past, and I've kind of forgotten this when I started developing this game. You have to put a lot of effort really into a game. You really need a team of people working on a game, or a very good idea that you can devote a lot of time to. Remember, things like Flappy Bird would have taken ages for that guy to develop that app by himself. So I ended up basically doing what I do on YouTube, which is throwing a lot of poo at the fan and seeing what stuck. And I ended up making some really naff soundboards with words like sexy in the title, because it turns out that those things are searched for on the App Store, and it didn't have to be particularly salacious, just had to have those words in the title and the metadata, and people would find them and download them. And then most people would leave me then a crap review, understandably. Although why you would admit to downloading an app of that caliber for free and then complain about it, I'm not entirely sure. But that's a whole different video, I think. So imagine my surprise when I released the app on the 22nd of July, and then the next day I checked the download statistics to find that it had 2 downloads, one of which was me. What do I think has happened here? Well, I was checking the App Store, trying to find my app once it had been released. In the olden days, sort of 10 years ago, in iTunes, there used to be a chart of like the best-selling apps and also the newly released apps. And so every single app would get a time when it was appearing at the top of the newly released chart, and therefore it would get some downloads. And I think much like YouTube, with its deciding that actually the best way to make advertising revenue isn't to give the little fish a chance, just to give the big fish their spot, because they will always attract more income, higher ad rates, etc. So that's gone, and I think that's really a lot of the reason the app didn't do very well in that first day. That and it ain't that good, and it doesn't have sexy in the title. So anyway, I then made a video, released a video on this channel revealing this app, showing you what it does, and then funnily enough, the next day I then got 50 downloads. So basically exclusively my subscribers and viewers went and downloaded the app, for which I am extremely grateful. So it's interesting then that the reviews that I have of the app are from a handful of downloads that the app has actually received. So then let's look at the performance over the subsequent days. Down to 14 downloads the next day, 5 the day after that, and then it's been bumping along sort of between 1 and 3 downloads a day since then. So it's a kind of steady stream of downloads. In total, it's been downloaded 111 times, which, as I say, is a little bit disappointing because I have 10-year-old apps in the App Store now that are downloaded more than that per day. So in that respect, it was a pretty big failure, wasn't it? So let's look at the more interesting thing and the thing I promised in this video. So from 112 downloads, how much money has the app actually made? Let's have a look at Google Admob. So I put Google ads in the app because I found them to be quite lucrative and, you know, generally quite an easy thing to set up. You can see that on that day where there were 50 downloads, there were 156 ad requests. So people were playing the app for a while, and I had a few people that gave me some great feedback with suggestions. So let's get to the crux of the matter. How much did the app make? Well, it made a grand total of 94 cents since it was uploaded on the 22nd of July. On the day where 50 people downloaded it, it made 32 cents. And admittedly, there's been a few days since then when it's made like 20 cents one day, 27 cents another day. But yeah, the total is 94 cents. So I'd say I worked off and on for about a month on that app to make 94 cents revenue. Would I do it again? No, I wouldn't. And to add insult to injury, I'm now making a video about it, which will probably make, well, it'll make more than that, I should think, in advertising revenue, but not a lot more. Anyway, I hope that's been interesting. The link to the app is down below in case you want to check it out for yourself. You've got to laugh, haven't you? Well, have you really? Anyway, thank you to my loyal patrons who are absolutely wonderful and the only reason I continue to upload videos on YouTube. Thank you very much to all of you, especially George Foot, Magnanimous Meg, even though she's not a patron anymore. Thank you, Magnanimous Meg. Samir Al-Amar, Jennifer Jones, and Rob Van Eden, who are extremely generous patrons. Thank you very much. And thank you also to my wonderful subscribers who do return to my videos. It is very much appreciated. See you next time for another video.